You're hyping it. It's fucking discontinued. I sent 8 to 10 emails. 8 to 10 emails to people on HeadFi by basically cold calling. I checked the thread for this device, and I looked at people that had commented and assumed they must have it, and I sent them private messages, and I said, I'm interested in purchasing your, this device. And normally when you do that on HeadFi, you'll get a reply, how much are you looking to spend? It's like an open-ended question. Like a blank check. Somebody says, you want to sell your thing. Obviously, that person really wants it. I mean, you're not trying to sell it, but they're contacting you, so you've got the leverage. You can say, yeah, I'd like a fucking gram for it. These are hard to find. Every single one, and they're going to watch this video because they'll get a hurt. There's like 3 on the internet. Every single one of them said, in 8 to 10 different versions, a couple of them were just the letters N and O together, no. Not from my cold dead hands. Variations of no, and laughs. LOL, no, no LOL. Cold dead hands. No way. Just and after that experience, I thought I have absolutely fucking got to get my hands on this thing, because not only does it sound description-wise exactly what the fuck I've been looking for, everybody I contact to try to get a hand on it is totally blowing me off. They're not saying some ridiculous price, or they're not highballing me. They're not taking advantage of my approach. They're not even entertaining it. It's just, that's it. This thing was made in 2014. It was made by a company that now we're 6 minutes 18 seconds in, and you still haven't seen the device, so you can just fucking jet and get out of here. I'm talking to the hardcore people. They make, apparently, by my research, they're kind of like a Cord, where they make very expensive home amp DACs, I guess. I can't really explain what the company does, but they're in another branch. I guess the personal audio, not personal, the home audio, I suppose, I guess. Anyway, they got like an $8,000 amp, and other stuff. So they don't make cheap stuff. They got into the DAP business. They did it once, so far as I know, this one. And for reasons that I can't quite explain, they just got out of it. This is discontinued. There is no hype train. There is no benefit to anybody to do a video about this thing, because you're not going to get a free one, which kind of explains the lack of interest in the item, because you got to just buy it and enjoy it. There's no, that's it. There's no hype train. And it's one of the finest things. I'll say this. I'm a balanced person, as you know, and you've just seen the video that I did about the X7, which I love it a lot. This is single lens only. If it had balanced, I would never let it go. I would make excuses to the person that lent it to me. I would the exchange that we did, I would just try to extend it to infinity until it was demanded to be returned, because it's that fucking awesome. Now, it's upside down. Oh, because the fucking name's right there. Comes in very simple box. It's got one of those magnet. It's got a pouch. I swear to God, before I did this, I actually checked. This had to have been on the inside cover of the fucking case, because whatever, too late now. Comes in a pouch. It's very nice. Who gives a shit about this stuff? But the whole thing, from beginning to end, I'm not going to take the cables out, and I never have, because this is not my device. This is one that gets passed around if you're fucking lucky and you get to hold it in your hand. It's a fucking unicorn. There's not a lot of stuff that Headphonia gets that they don't keep. And this is one of those items, I guess, because it was not easy for them to get their hands on it any more than me. I'm really sorry about the fucking zoom. I'm not using my regular camera right now, which sucked anyway, but I'm not using it. You open it up. and you're presented with, if you've seen my cables, it's the same fucking color as this. Let me go get that for a second. Hold on just a second. Now this is my, all of my cables are done by Pateric, and they're basically this color, which is the exact color of this. And when I got this thing, I was like, holy shit, this is like fucking Destiny. Wow. Just a little side note, but it matches my cables. Its screen quality is absolutely fantastic. Now this is the fucking phone thing that I wanted, but nobody ever brought it up to me. I cannot. This is like the basehead thread where you look back later and you think, how the fuck could nobody say, you know, item A, B, C? I said I wanted something that was basically kind of like a droid, had a very large screen, and was a music player. I didn't want some little fucking screen thing, and I didn't want to pay $3,000 for the thing. And not a single person brought this thing up. It's a fucking mind blower. Heard about this later. Push it down. Let it go. There's Calyx-M, bumps up right there. It's got its... In 2014, there was not a lot of companies that were doing their own thing like this. This was quite... This was something that rivaled the AKs of the time, and according to a couple reviews on the net, the flagship at the time was the 240, and this, by you know, impression to ear and by measurement, as far as its performance under load, exceeded the 240, and that this was going for half of that price at the time. That was like $2,000 something, and this was about $1,000. This is the interface of it. Now, when you start it up, it scans itself automatically. Now, the sad thing is that you're looking at this and you're not seeing the screen. Great. Now, usually when you take a screen and you look at it from an angle, this is where it turns into a disaster because you just can't see it. This is what it looks like all the way around, but for some reason the camera's not catching this. On other videos, you'll see it. It looks about like this. It's very, very, very sharp. This camera's blowing it out for some fucking reason. If I touch this button, I'm going to go into settings. And this is interesting because it'll give you visual representations that look like an SD card and then how much of it is filled up like liquid. And it's very, very cool. Remember, this is 2014. This looks sharper than a lot of stuff I've held in my hand this year. It's got something called impedance matching where it's got low, medium, low, mid, high, which is basically like gain settings. It is a very powerful device. It'll drive most anything. Get out of there. If I go to track info, it'll give me a big full screen. Again, this is like a fucking phone with everything. Give me the file name, the folder, the resolution, the extension, the memory, the album, the artist, the genre. It'll give me in a big, easy to fucking read thing. This is not like a teeny font, teeny touch type thing right here. Everything is big and easy to access. I go into the music, and it'll give me, you know, everything in that album. And go back. Now, remember, I like Android. Let me swipe that over. Oh shit, what the fuck was that? Let me go the other way. It'll do the other fucking way. This is like a jukebox. I can set up a fucking jukebox. It's kind of mind-blowing. This is exactly what I was asking for 3 years ago, and not a fucking person brought it up to me. Let me move it over. Let me go to the Eagles. Hotel California. There we go. Oh, that's right. If you hold it there for a second, it'll give you the album art for like 5 seconds, and then it'll switch back. Because I'm a visual dude, I'd love to keep it here, but it'll switch back to this one. It's got a magnetic volume slider that when I move it, it'll show it to me on the side right here. I can set this to either do it like this or do it on the screen. So I can set the way that I don't have to use this if for some reason I think that it's going to get in the way when I put it in a bag or do something. I can actually take this off. It's a magnet. It comes off. And just use touch if I wanted to. I don't need to use the manual controls, or I can, whichever one I want to use. On the top, it's got the power button, and it's got two SD slots. One is a regular micro SD, and then it's got another one that could be regular SD, or it could be a mini, or it could be a micro, depending on what your adapter is, and single-ended. Now, why did this thing not take off? I don't know. It is a mystery to me because it does not have an EQ. But as I've journeyed through the audiophile world, there's a lot of players that don't. There's a lot of people that don't give a shit about it. So that can't fucking be it. Okay, no EQ. It's a little bit slow. Now remember, this is 2014, and you're thinking that doesn't look that bad. Well, it's not that bad, but it's not as snappy as a phone. So I don't think that's it, because there just wasn't. Now you see it's sometimes loading album art a little bit slowly. It's kind of a symptom of the lag, I guess. That's Exodus right there. The things that I would ding it for, it's not that fast. And a lot of people don't seem to give a shit, particularly 2014. Not that much. It doesn't have an EQ. That's something that a lot of files don't give a shit about. And it doesn't have balanced. Is that big a deal for other people? I mean, you've seen my setup and know I love it, but is that big for everybody? I don't know. So why did this device not... Why do you not know a lot about this device? I can't tell you why. I don't know. It's a mystery to me. Here's the thing, if you've stayed here for 16 minutes, that's really important about this video and why I'm doing this. There's a lot of stuff on the internet right now, and it's related to impressions of devices, and it's based on the DAC that is used in the device. So if you were to hear a certain DAC, let's say AK, you might think rich, smooth, with details. Depending on the quality of the AK DAC, the more details that would be available, and maybe the smoothness would be turn more into whatever refinement an audiophile would prefer. If you were to hear ESS Sabre, you would think glare, because that's something that is talked about a lot. I didn't know the DAC that was in this device until I got possession of it, and then checked, because I was blown away by the quality of the sound. And it's got an ESS Sabre in it. And this device has changed my view of the impact that a DAC has on the final sound that comes out of here, or your balanced, or whatever you've got, whether it's a single-ended or balanced. The quality of the sound that comes out is not as dependent on the DAC as you think it is. This doesn't sound anything like you would imagine the ES Sabre sounds like. I said before in the video, tell anybody that I said that this sounds like a Mojo without the sub bass and the high treble clipped off. That's my basic simple description. And also add to that, if you remembered that, write it down, that this throws into question the associations of sound signatures and DACs completely out the window. This does not sound anything like you would imagine. If Mojo made a handheld version and for some reason was giving a wider presentation because they put in more taps or filters or whatever into the device, this would be pretty much what you'd imagine it would sound like. It would sound like this, and it's a fucking ESS Sabre DAC. So I don't think about DACs so much anymore when I'm looking and judging something, because this makes no sense. This device doesn't hold to there's a fingerprint on there. This doesn't hold to the expectation that we put on devices when we think about the hardware that's included in them. This doesn't sound anything like. There's people that like that sound, so this isn't a shot at ESS because I think they make fine DACs. But I had an image. If I had known this had an ESS DAC in it, I think I might not have been so interested to get my hands on it because of the bias that I have against glare. Though I've only heard one device ever with the ESS that had what I thought was really a glare. I've heard some Texas Instrument Burr Browns that sound more like they've got glare. So the parroting that goes on in this hobby about what something sounds like is parroting. In its truest form, it really is hearing something and passing it along and then adding your own little color to it. But you keep the legend going with your words. This sounds unique. It sounds like AK getting it right in all the levels 3 years ago. It's a puzzling device. Trust me when I say that if you go look at the reviews on the internet, and there's only a few, and you read the descriptions, that they're true. That this is a rich, detailed, wide-presenting, powerful device that, for reasons that I can't get my head around, never took off. It's big. I don't know that's a problem. It's got an easy screen to navigate. It's not fast. I don't know if that was, the biggest point for something in this range in 2014. It's single-ended only. That might be for some people, but I don't think that would do it. It doesn't have any cue. I've met most of the audiophiles I've come across on HeadFi and on the internet would expect the default presentation to be good and not need any cue, which is a form of, almost like DSP, signal processing. So that can't be it. So what happened? I don't know. It's a mystery. And I'm going to pass this back to the person that let me use it and continue to puzzle. It is absolutely a spectacular sounding device. How much do people in this hobby talk out of their asses, and how much do they actually listen to the devices? That's something I guess that comes to my mind when I listen to this. Nobody ever fucking said this thing to me. Nobody ever, until Dr. Blue New Mexico brought it up, said, hey, you like thick, rich presentations, but you like detail and you don't want to sacrifice the stuff that is associated with that? Get this device. Not a single person said that until Dr. Blue New Mexico did. And I researched, and I got it, and it's exactly what everybody said it was. And there's not a lot of everybody's because not a lot of people have reviewed the item. It's absolutely fantastic. It's worthy of the hype. It doesn't have enough hype, and the company walked away from something that I think was special, and I don't know beyond that what to say. If you get a chance to get your hands on one of these, I would recommend you do it. This is audiophile sound. This sounds like you're there. It's rich, it's thick, it's detail-laden, it's very wide, it's powerful. It's an amazing device. I don't even know if anybody ever reviewed this on HeadFi. Not one. I don't think so. Fucking mind-blower. Absolutely mind-blower. That's it. I'm going to finish this up. Fucking beautiful. Calyx-M. What could have been? Who knows? Just so the person knows, I got one of these. I got like 6 of these. And this thing stayed in it the whole time. It wasn't actually in the box. I put it in the box so I could do this video. It was just rolled up inside here. Like that. And put it in a bigger box because it's fucking a unicorn. That's what you do with unicorns.